Hi everyone, and welcome along to today's video. Now, I was asked just recently by a chap saying that his boiler needs replacing. Should I get another gas one or should I get an electric one, because I won't be using gas in a few years time. They're going to be kind of stopped. I said no, get gas. Electric boiler is an absolute no. They cost a fortune to run. Alright, keep away from electric boilers. Now, that led me on to saving electricity. The price of energy is really high, as we know at the moment. I did one on gas saving just a little while ago, and I thought I'd now move on to electricity and what you can do to try and save a few bob on your consumption. Well, there's lots of things you can do, and there's lots of things going on that are using electricity that you can do something about. Now, obviously there's things you can't do anything about, like fridges or freezers. They've got to be on, haven't they? But that's a necessary evil. We've got to eat, and we like to store our food. No, what I'm moving on to is the things that are running and you don't kind of twig that they're using all this electricity. Now, I'm not talking about leaving lights on in rooms and things like that. It's just common sense to turn off lights that you don't use and things like that. But there's other things going on, and this is the main culprit these days. One of these is leading me on. This is a charger. It's a phone charger. And how many of these have you got in your home plugged in, probably switched on still on the plug, so they're running, and they all take a little bit of power, only small, but you add them up over time and you're talking about a fair bit of energy a year. Now, these things are running on laptops, pads, phones of course, and any other devices that need charging, which is lots and lots of things today, isn't it? And therefore people tend to leave them in and just leave them on, and often you'll see a phone left on charge for hours and hours. Now it's probably topped up ages ago. It's still running. And this led me on thinking, you know, with families, you know, like if you've got young children and they've got those games consoles, Xboxes, etc., they're left on standbys and so on, so they can get back into a game and so forth. But they use a lot of energy when it's like that. I mean, even Jan here, her laptop is plugged in all the time, and she quite often just shuts it down without closing it, so when she pops the lid up, it's straight there, which is great. But of course, it's using power the whole time it's doing that. So that is something else to look at, where the only way you can stop it is pull the plug out socket, or if you've got to switch the socket, switch them off. Switch these off. You know, they're all taking power from you and causing your bill to go up higher than it would normally. Now, I know these are all small items on their own. This isn't worth bothering with, but when you're talking about lots of these chargers and things running in the home, then that will add up. Over time, that's going to be quite a bit a year, especially say if you've got a big family and they've all got things running and going, which they will have. I mean, most laptops these days, I know they've got batteries, but we're mainly charging them up all the time, aren't we? Because they don't last 5 minutes, so therefore we tend to leave the chargers in and just keep them on and running. And that is when, you know, your electricity is kind of running away silently in the background. But I'll tell you another really big one. Let me show you that uses power that people really forget about, and it's one to consider. Let me show you. And this is the one. See that little light there? This amplifier is in standby mode. That's because I've switched the plug on. And what's the main culprit? The TV. That is also in standby mode. Now, modern TVs these days, if it's a smart one, can use anything between 2 to 12 watts of power in standby mode. That's a lot of power when you add it all up. Now, back in 2013, old tellies used a lot more than that, but we got them regulated then, so that if you've got a non-smart TV, you're probably only doing 0.5 watts, which is really tiny and is not so bad. But all things considered, best switched off at the plug. We always switch ours off, so I've left mine just switched on, so you can see that little red light down there. And now, how many people listen to their radio through the TV? Quite a few people. They listen to their music through their TV, and it's just a screen saying probably radio 2 or whatever, and you're using all that power the TV is consuming, which is a lot when a TV is on, believe me, especially these big smart TVs, and the bigger the more it uses, just to play music through. You could save a lot of money just by switching that off and getting a small little radio set that uses very little power and still have your radio on. Using a TV for music is a completely and utterly waste of energy and money. There we are then. So energy gets used up in your home quite often without realising what's going on. It's very easy to lose control of it, and it's just slipping away through your fingers, just through not keeping quite a tight tab on it as you should do. Now, a friend of mine is an electrician, says that even those sockets, the double power sockets with a USB socket, use a fraction of power as well. Not much to be talking about, but it's still on whether you plug something into it or not. So all round you've got to really watch power consumption running away with you these days, and it's just common sense. Keep an eye and keep a watch on what you're doing and what you're using. Now, I'm sure plenty of you have your own take on this, what else is using electricity. I've just narrowly brushed on the main things that I see around me and that need sorting out. When I go to anybody's house and do a job, I see these things running, especially that TV one. I just can't believe it, a TV playing the radio, you know, a TV with all that energy consumption, and you know, it's just running away. So anyway, let me know your points of view and what other devices you would switch off and that use energy that may be worth making a note of in the comments underneath this video. I'll leave that to you though. I'm sure you'll come up with some great ideas. Okay, that's it though. All my stuff, you know where to go. Derek and 33. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.